Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 8 of April's daily LeetCode challenge. Today we have question 1700, number of students unable to eat lunch. It's a very sad question. The school cafeteria offers circular and square sandwiches at lunch break, referred to by numbers 0 and 1 respectively. All students stand in a queue. Each student either prefers square or circular sandwiches. The number of sandwiches in the cafeteria is equal to the number of students. The sandwiches are placed in a stack. At each step, if the student at the front of the queue prefers the sandwich on the top of the stack, they will take it and leave the queue. Otherwise, they will leave it and go to the queue's end. This continues until none of the queue students want to take the top sandwich and are thus unable to eat. I'm not going to read the rest. It's very long. But the most important part of this question is right here. This continues until none of the queue students want to take the top sandwich and are thus unable to eat. So what this sentence means is basically it's a early exit or a early return. So if we come across a sandwich and none of the students want the sandwich, then we will have to break it there. And it doesn't matter if we have sandwiches we have other sandwiches that students want to eat. If we come across a sandwich that nobody wants to eat, then nobody gets to eat anymore, is basically what this question says. And when you understand this part of the question, then the solution just comes together. And as of the queue and the rotating queue and all that, it doesn't really matter as much because of the constraints. There are always going to be the same number of students and the same number of sandwiches. So it doesn't really matter where the students are in the queue because they're going to eventually get to the front, because the students in the front will go to the end and then it will just keep going in a circle. So keep that in mind. So our solution is basically to do as the question says. So first we will count all the students and their preferred sandwiches, and then we will iterate through the sandwiches and try to find a sandwich that nobody wants. So for every sandwich we give to a student that wants it, when we find a sandwich that nobody wants, we return the leftover students. So the runtime would be O of n, and the space would be O of n, because I'm going to use a dictionary. But if you just use a variable, you could reduce it to O of 1. Well, I'll just use variables and just make it O of 1, because why use O of n, right? So we'll just say student 1 and student 0 is 0, 0. So student 1 is the students that want the 1 sandwiches, and student 0 is the ones that want the 0 sandwiches. So for student in students, if student equals 0, then student 0 is 1, else student 1 is 0. There we have our count. And then for sandwich in sandwiches, if sandwich equals 0, then we will give it to a student that wants sandwich 0. So student 0 minus equal 1 else student 1 minus equal 1. And then we need to just check if nobody wants the sandwich. So if we come across a 0 sandwich and student 0 is equal to 0, that means there are no more students that want 0 sandwiches. Then we will return student 1, or aka the leftover students. And if student 1 is equal to 0, then we will return student 0. And then at the end of the for loop, if we do reach the end of the for loop, that means everything worked fine, so we could just return 0, meaning like everything went perfectly well. And everyone got to eat. Hooray. Submit. And that is the solution. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Peace out.